Good evening, my Gitz and Gobbos. I am so glad that you could be here today. My name is Rich, the channel's called New Memphis, and today we're painting up Zarbag's Gitz, which, at least in my opinion, are the models that just prove you should be playing Age of Sigmar instead of 40k, because the models are just that much more fun. Like, they're just fun. They're just fun. Anyway, I love these models, and I'm really happy how this paint job turned out. Not going to win any awards, but it's definitely going to be eye-catching at a tournament, so hope you guys enjoy it. And, yeah, let's have fun. I hope you guys stick around to the end of the video, because I am going to be talking a little more about my plans for the channel, what I'm thinking about doing, other ideas that I have, and another secret project that's actually not all that much of a secret, as I do plan on telling you about it at the end of this video, so yeah. Anyway, feel free to skip that if you're not interested, or stick around. I'd love if you did, if you wanted to listen to more about what I have going on. But either way, let's get to the painting, because, let's be honest here, that's the fun part. Alright, Zarbag's Gitz. 9 of my favorite models in the entire Age of Sigmar line, and purchased by me during the Great Warhammer Underworlds clearance sale of 2022. To start off with, I'm going to kind of try to make them my own by cutting off a couple small square pieces of sprue. Got a couple circular ones in there too. I pressed those into place with a little Tamiya cement, hoping I could maybe make some patches to add extra color to these once they're all painted up. After a lot of thinking, I decided to prime these in rusty red, which is a color you may recognize if you remember my ghouls from a few months back. Now, I want these models to be as colorful as possible, so I'm going to avoid using black. So instead I took matte medium, water, and Vallejo dark Prussian blue to make a wash. If you're someone who wants to get into wargaming but doesn't like painting, just a reminder, a good primer, a good wash, and you'll be most of the way to a 3-color minimum. Paint the bases after this and you're pretty much there, and you'll have models that look great on a busy tabletop. After that, I started adding some extra details, using the following colors. I painted any straps and ropes with cork brown, and did most of the metallics in silver, but also brass for a few accent details. London gray for most of the base, or the top of it, and then black for the rims. Then Vallejo black-red for anything made of wood, and saddle brown for some of the pouches. Looking back on it, I kind of wish I'd used black for the pouches because it would have stood out more. The saddle brown just really blends into that rusty red. And then of course I used white for feathers, teeth, bones, and claws. Now, I thought about using a classic Warhammer Goblin green for the skin tones, but since there's so much red on the models anyway, I decided to go with a more bluish green because I think it'll just add a lot more contrast. Let me tell you, I was holding my breath throughout all of this. Here's how they looked afterwards, and I could not be happier with the result. I also used an icy blue for the eyes, in case you were wondering. I thought about doing yellow for the teeth, but with so much red on the model, I thought white might actually contrast better. Once that was done, I did some highlights with Vallejo clear orange, just trying to get the edges of their robes, any large, flat areas, and anything that would be collecting a lot of light. I have to make sure not to paint over that blue dark wash if at all possible. These squigs have been following the same set of rules. Rusty red primer, blue wash. But I'm going to do some highlights with Vallejo Dark Vermilion. Once again, I'm just trying to hit the raised edges and the large upward-facing sections. Here they are with all their highlights finally in place. For the Goblin Knight in the center, I painted his helmet yellow because I wanted to copy the Loon Boss figure, which I really like, but I just wasn't able to make it work, so I painted it silver later on. So you'll see that change later in the video. As for the rest of these guys, we've got a long ways to go, but I think we're really making progress. The next big thing to do is the mushrooms, which are at the base of pretty much every single model. When choosing a color for the mushrooms, I thought, what have we not used yet? And the answer was an actual classic red and green, so I used those along with lemon yellow to do the mushrooms to add those nice, like I said, classic colors to some of these models. The last big step will be finishing up the bases, and to start we have these little insects. These things are supposed to be antlions, but while perusing the internet for inspiration, I did take inspiration from a particular not-so-friendly neighborhood goblin. So, I figured why not take a little more inspiration from him right now? Yes! Perfect! If I ever get a unit of goblin spider riders, I will absolutely 100% paint them up in this scheme. I don't know why goblins are so associated with spiders, but, I mean, I'll take advantage. And after all this time, I finally get to paint these patches. Remember, the idea of these is to add a pop of color. Use colors that we wouldn't otherwise be able to use on these models. Looking for opportunities like that is a really important step to making your stuff look unique. For this first one, I decided to start out with a base of cork brown. Once that was done, I added some stripes of black and red going opposite directions. Not bad. For the next two, I started out by basing them in black, then did some stripes of Vallejo buff, and stripes of gray. I started out the next two in white, then did stripes of either blue and gray or khaki and gray. Then finally I got to Zarbag himself, to whom I actually attached 3 patches. And I decided to just paint them all 3 different colors, because like I said, what this is really about is adding on extra colors that wouldn't be there otherwise. No grand reveal on this one, unfortunately, but I do hope you enjoy these 360 shots of each of the models. Thank you so much, by the way, for sticking around through the video for this long. I really appreciate your support, and feel free to leave a like or comment if you feel like you also want to see this getting recommended to other people. Stick around to the end of the video if you want to hear me talk more about the channel, where it's going, and what I'm planning. But otherwise, in case you don't, I just want you to know that I want you to have a great day, and just how much I appreciate you being here. now that we're hitting 2023 and I'm planning on making videos with a bit more regularity, I do hope to expand the channel a bit and do, I don't know, something? I mean, look, I am a writer who happens to make YouTube videos about miniature painting because I'd probably be doing it anyway. So, it just so happens that I do this, but I do have a couple of writing projects that are coming up that you guys might be interested in. One of them happens to be a classic humans v vampires story set in a space. Set in space, but is ultimately a science fiction reinterpretation of like humans, like Transylvanian style army of humans versus army of the dead type deal, but in space with, you know, colonies on a distant world some of whom have discovered necromancy, like going to war with human colonies, and who have guns and more guns and just stuff like that. Like that's just it's gonna be fun. Like that's the point. It's gonna be fun, and I hope you guys stick around for it. I'm hoping tentatively to have a release in May, and quite a few videos between now and then, painting, among other things, the rest of the Blackstone Fortress box. Oh god, I have so many Trader Guard to paint. Like, it's not even funny. Like, oh my god. Oh. Anyway, stick around for that if you like watching me suffer. But overall, I hope you guys stick around with the channel. If you don't, I don't blame you. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a lot more stuff outside of just miniature painting. Probably talking about writing, talking about Warhammer writing. I have a lot to say about the Chaos Gods. Not all of it nice, quite frankly. Oh boy, Warhammer writing. Anyway, I'm rambling at this point, so I'm going to kind of leave it there, but I do hope you guys stick around, is all I'm going to say. And if you feel like this channel is worth sticking around, you know, leave a comment down below, leave a like. It's a great way to tell the algorithm that this content is worth showing to other people. But either way, honestly, I just hope you guys have a great day. So, cheers. Here's to you. And I'll see you guys in the next one.